Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our pre-match press conference ahead of our away game against Odisha FC. With me is head coach Des Buckingham, and along with him is midfielder Vineet Rai. Floor's open. You can ask your questions.
Good afternoon, coach. So my question is, how hard is it, do you think, to maintain the squad's focus while you sit on the top of the table currently?
Merry Christmas to everyone, firstly. Motivation-wise, I don't have to do too much. It's a very humble and good group of players that know what we want to do week in, week out, and that's as far forward as we look. So we spoke about making sure that we start the season well to put ourselves in a strong position. Very happy with the performances today over the 11 games, not just the performances, but of course then the results that have come as part of that. And it's important now as we tip over to the other side of the season that we just make sure we continue trying to get better game by game, and that next game for us is Odisha, and then that'll help us hopefully push on to where we want to go.
And how is the New Year celebration setting up in the camp? How's the vibe around the team right now with the New Year's coming?
Yeah, they'll all be in bed by 9 o'clock. There'll be no partying because we train in the afternoon and then we travel the next day as well. So we'll see the fireworks in. I'm sure we'll see New Year. But we were fortunate in terms of the schedule over the Christmas break after our last game to have Christmas Day and Boxing Day off. So we celebrated that together. But we'll be doing everything we can to make sure we're as prepared as we can be for Odisha, whilst also seeing in the New Year.
And what are the key takeaway messages you would like to give the team as well as the fans as we've started the second half of the season, so to avoiding repeating last season's trend of mixed results?
Yeah, I think we're in a much stronger and better position. I mean, when I look at our team for certainly the last two games, there's only two players different in our starting lineup to what this time last year was. So we had Igor leading our line last year, and it's now Diaz, and of course Cassio was our number 10, and this time it's Greg. Otherwise, the other 9 starting players are what they were last year, the same as when we went to the Champions League. So it's not been a mass turnaround. And the reason I mention that is because it's important to probably recognise the work that these guys have done to build the consistency and the playing style. And that's going to be so important as we now go into the last 9 games of the regular season. Because now they know it, it's now about adding detail. And rather than maybe only having 1 or 2 ways of doing things, we now have got 5 or 6. And then it's making sure we do them as well as we can to try and get the success that we want in the games.
My question to Vineet, first of all. The one thing is, throughout right now, the half of the season was the midfield position is being very strengthened. I mean, eventually, if there is a one off day of the midfield players, the other will be actually come up and stand to creating the chances. So, any thoughts right now? What makes special this midfield of Mumbai City FC has become so stronger as of now? Ahmad Jao, Greg, Apuya, yourself, and other players who can stand out and do as midfield to do the striker. So what is any thoughts on that?
First of all, I'm really fortunate, to have this competition in my position, because normally when I was in Odisha, there was very less competition in my position. But since I have arrived here, especially this year, we have so much of competition, and that makes me push harder every training session. Because to make my spot on the team, so that I can come and make some impact in the match during the game. But and everyone in my position is like one of the best midfielders in the league. So so if one is having an off day, then other one, you have seen in earlier games, like if one is having an off day and other one comes and help the team to impact on the game. So I think, and that's what we really keep pushing each other in during the training and in the match also.
Sir, coach, I have a question. Especially the long run of undefeated streak, as of now 11, but 9 matches still to go. The league is not yet over, and the only question is how as a team and the management and the players are pumped up to just keep winning the momentum. Like what is the more preparation and what is the more thing, not experimenting, or is it just about to just keep that focus on the next game one by one?
It's exactly that. I spoke before about the standards that we have, and it's being consistent to those standards, regardless of the result or regardless of a run that you might be on. Because if you can remain consistent to them, and they're high, and I'd like to think that what we have here is very high, both on the training field and off. And I said last time I'd invite you down to our training session, and yesterday was a prime example again of that. I get the benefit and the fortune of working with these guys day in, day out, and the way they push and the way they drive each other to become better individually, like Vinit has just said, but also to make sure that the team can continue pushing to where we want to get to. It's important that we keep doing that. So it's a combination of a few things, but it's the importance of making sure we remain consistent to the standards that we've set, and if we do that, we're convinced that we'll put ourselves in the best position to come away with results as well.
Other question, I just want to say that the away game, the against Odisha in Kalinga Stadium, they've been unbeaten actually. They have a very good record, but especially now the second half comes. The team are preparing against Mumbai City FC, their strategies and how to clashing on. So what is the thought of going into the second half, especially against Odisha in Kalinga Stadium? Is it a tough because no big team has beaten Odisha in Kalinga Stadium? So what's the challenges ahead of?
I've been here 15 months now, and if you don't know the answer to that question in terms of how I want our teams to play and how we want this club to play, it's to go and attack. It's to go and play the football that we play, whether it's we're playing Air Force in the Champions League or it's us playing Odisha away. We know it will be a challenging game, but our approach doesn't change. We will go and try and play our football and play it to the best of our abilities. And then if we need to manage the game in the game, whether it's to secure a result or put ourselves in a strong position, like Vinit again mentioned, around making changes to impact the game, or whether, as it was in the last game, bringing in more defensive reinforcements to secure the game, that's something that we have the ability to do this year as well. But my approach will never change. It's to attack, to play a very good brand of football, and then it's about managing the game in the game.
Coach, a question. The last game saw your team come back from a goal down, similarly against Chennai in the reverse fixture as well. Do you expect a lot more of these tough games and intense games in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I spoke in the last press conference about every team getting better, including ourselves, and I think you get that through time. It's 11 rounds that have gone now. We enter round 12, and teams get the opportunity to see everyone play more, which gives them an idea as to what they can expect. Doesn't mean that we will play the same way, but they can set up maybe better than they could have after only seeing 2 or 3 games. And we were in a position in the first 10 rounds where we did win, whether we went behind or we went on to score first. We won the games by 2 goals or more. So we put ourselves in a strong position to manage the game. I don't expect that to continue. That was a prime example last week. What was very pleasing last week was the courage that remained within the players to continue getting on the ball, the courage of the players to continue trying to play the way we did, and then the mentality is to stick true to what we do that got us the result and see us through, and that's going to be so important because we're not going to be able to have it all our own way, whether it's per game or within the 90 minutes. And those moments when it doesn't go our way, that courage, that mentality to make sure that we keep doing what we're doing, will hopefully put us in a strong position again to come away with the points that we want in the performances.
Good.
So we have one more question. What will you think will be the area of pitch where the game would be decided? Because Odisha's playing style is very similar to MCFC's, and do you think it's going to be a battle of the midfield?
It's a good question. They've got a good team, and the way Joseph sets them up, it's we see when they played us, he wants to play a certain way, which is similar. I think it's not one area where it's going to be won. It's across the field, and I say that with respect. They have some good attackers. It's making sure our defence is ready for that, but also able to play the way that we want. The 2 midfield battles, which we see last week against Chennai, teams will approach and try and stop our midfield in different ways. The pleasing thing is we have different ways now to come out of that and play. And then it's in the boxes at either end as the game's always decided. And what's really pleasing is the combination of certainly our front 5 with Diaz, with Bipin, with Chante, Apoya now scoring goals. Even Vinit scored the other week. Obviously Greg and Alberto. So that contribution, that front 5 and that threat of those is going to be so important to make sure again we keep offering those threats and finishing off those moves.
And last one, will Roston be starting the next game?
Roston is fit to start the next game. He returned to full training. He was able to make the squad and obviously only cleared for 15 to 20 minutes in the last game. He's trained all week this week. We've had a bit of a break between, I think, 8 days. and he's trained very well. So it's a good selection problem for us now as a club to have, which we didn't have last year. So whether we start Rostin with Fall, as we did against Hyderabad, or whether we continue with Fall or we move to Rostin, it's something that we will look at in the next couple of days. But it's a wonderful problem to have.
Any thoughts on Haaland is coming in your club right now? So, I mean, he has joined the training session. So, how do you see right now him right now in the training? So, any thoughts on him for a newcomer? Just kidding.
Yeah. We brought him in, so he's trained with us now for 4 weeks, since I think 4 or 6 weeks since we announced the signing. What really attracted us to him as a player, we've got a way that we want to play. And defenders, he's a big, strong, physical type player, but he can also play with the ball at his feet. We see that with the Arrows, and we see that with the national teams, and that was very exciting to me when he'd become available to see if we could get him to come here.
Are we going to see him in this ISL game?
Say again?
Are we going to see him debuting ISL?
He's got a fight on his hands with Rostin, with Metab, with Fall, obviously Gill. There's a lot of competition for those spots, as you've seen. So, we need to make sure that we put the right players on the field to get the results. Firstly, he's trained extremely well, and it's important when you bring these young players in that you give them time to adapt to the environment that they find themselves in now, because a lot of his football has been played with young players. But the pleasing thing is now he's surrounded by very good players in Fall, in Rostin, in Metab, in Gill, and Raul Beke. So he can learn off of those as well. So if the opportunity comes for him to have game time, firstly, he needs to put himself in a position to train well. And then secondly, if he gets the chance, the same way a lot of the other young players have done so far, when he gets onto the field, it's an opportunity for him to show what he can do.
Okay, the last question. As we are approaching the end of the year of 2022, what's your favourite moment as a coach to see the Mumbai City FC? What's your favourite moment?
I've got 2 or 3. The Champions League is a wonderful memory that I'll take for me for life. To be able to go to that level of competition and to play the football that we did, to come away with 2 wins and a draw against some of Asia's best clubs, and to showcase what Indian clubs and Indian players certainly can do on that level, was such a proud moment to stand on that sideline. And I know we had the full support of the other fan bases across the country, and obviously they're representing not just Mumbai but India was something I'll take with me for life. That was very special. And then so far this season, Bipin Singh's header against North East, and I'll tell you why. We had a wonderful celebration at the end, but since I've arrived here, I've been on at Bipin to arrive in certain positions, and I've told him for 14 months that if he gets into these positions, he will score with his head, but he needs to be brave enough to put his head there. And it's been 14 months in progress. So when he did score against North East, that allowed us to go 2-1 up and then go on to win the game 3-1. That was 14 months worth of work, and a very nice moment to share with an individual player.
I'll ask the same question to Vineet. Your moments of the year, favorite moments of the year.
My favorite moment is as coach said, in the AFC Champions League, because it was not just we were representing Mumbai, we were representing our country, and the way we played football in there, and the way we stick to our plans, how coach planned for us, and the amount of confidence we have shown in that high level, that how we can play as a team and to achieve good results from there. It was a very big moment for me in my life, and I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And the second is when I got my first Mumbai City goal against Chennai FC, because it was very special for me, because to get your first goal for your club and to help to contribute for the team is always very special, and I'm looking forward ahead in the season.
Just to sign off, coach, anything you're looking forward to in 2023?
That's a big question. I'm looking forward to the next game. I'll leave it as simple as that. I'm very much enjoying what we're doing right now. I'm enjoying how we're playing. I'm enjoying how the players are competing and pushing each other and the football that we're playing. And as long as that continues, that's the most important thing to me as we move into 2023.
Thank you so much. Vineet, anything you're expecting out of 2023?
As my personal goal and team goal is all same, because I want to win both the SIL and the league, to be honest, because why we play football is to win championship, and that's what we are here for, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
Thank you so much. Any further questions? Perfect. Thank you so much, coach. Thank you, Vineet.
Thank you, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year.